They can't even understand simple logic. When I debate a lot of these college girls, they'll be sit there and be like, yeah, I have a master's degree, but they don't master anything besides being stupid. So
I'm not kind of like pussy with, but like kind of.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, so it's very simple.
I am.
And then another one that no one wants to talk about is like, black women tend to be fat, man. Like they don't fucking work out. Like
you are directly responsible for spreading anti-Semitic rhetoric online. You constantly put down the Jewish people, but very rarely do you recognize the accomplishments that they have brought to society. Where would you be today without us?
Myron Gaines. Has anyone here heard of Andrew Tate? Top G. Myron's one of the first guys that kind of made Andrew Tate popular, right? That was Fresh&Fit was one of the first, when Tate started blowing up, Fresh&Fit was one of the first podcasts he did. So that's great. I think in 2025, we're in a post-debate world. The debate is already over. The young men know what's up. We know the truth about women and Israel and other things. And then a lot of the young women, all the young men are red-pilled, and then the young women seem to have not be red-pilled. A lot of the young women are still feminists. Some of them are waking up. But I think if all the men just teamed up, I think we could take the country back. We could just team up and just put all the girls, chain them up somewhere. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Anyways, Myron's a great guy, and well, let's bring him out. Or I could say some more things. Let's bring Myron out right now. Let's give it up for Myron Gaines. Thank you.
All right. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? How you guys doing? So, man. So the tour, I think it's called Toxic Masculinity, right? If I'm not mistaken, Toxic Masculinity. So, you know, and I'm glad that you brought that up with me and Andrew Tate, because, you know, we had a discussion on this, how toxic masculinity isn't real. It's a fake term. And it's a fake term that they use to demonize the very men that have created the society that women get to benefit from and get to enjoy, right? Because last time I checked, it takes toxic men to go to war. It takes toxically masculine men to build things. It takes toxically masculine men to create families, to get up every single day and go to work and create a society so that women can thrive from it. But as soon as things are nice and civilized and they forget who built this world, what do they say? Oh, this guy's toxically masculine because he adheres to certain characteristics that built this world up, right? And I remember I was having this conversation that the reality is when it comes to toxic masculinity, it's men that do what they're supposed to do regardless of what they're told, what other people tell them, what other people think, and quite frankly can't be controlled, and that's what they don't like. Because if you guys notice, this whole like toxic masculinity thing became huge when it came to the pandemic, right? AKA the scandemic, right? It started breaking out right around then. Oh, these guys are toxic masculine, this guy's toxic masculine, But the reality is what it came down to was guys just didn't want to be inside their house all day. Guys didn't want to sit there and not be able to go to work. Guys didn't want to sit there and be stuck in their home and wearing masks and comply. So this whole concept of toxic masculinity kind of came out and blew up during the COVID era, right? And the other thing also I want to talk about when it comes to like toxic masculinity is it's the ability to critically think. If you guys remember earlier, the dumb historian, right? The cuck historian, that guy that came up and asked me those questions before about World War II or whatever, right? He came in and he gave the same regurgitated history that they've been telling us forever, that a certain amount happened about the Cookie Monster event and that a certain guy with a mustache is evil and all this other bullshit. And when you actually do your own research and you figure things out, you figure out, damn, well, okay, well, he did this. Why didn't they ever talk about, you know, why or what happened or after World War I, how he was able to recover from World War I and, you know, create a thriving country? Why did not talk about that stuff? Why didn't they talk about, you know, a certain aspect that no one wants to talk about? And what it comes down to is they don't want you to know that stuff. And quite frankly, if you go ahead and you push against their narrative, they get pissed off and they try to ban you, and some places put you in jail for asking these questions. And again, this comes back to toxic masculinity, an ability to be a free thinker, the ability to challenge the narrative, question narrative, and then go ahead and do your own research, do your own investigation, and come out to a conclusion. And that's why these discussions are so important, right? And this is the United States of fucking America, man. Like, at the end of the day, the First Amendment, right? The First Amendment is a thing because dudes in England basically said, damn, this sucks. This king is like pissing us off. We can't say what we want. We're getting taxes, getting annoying. What do? They get in wooden ships, sail across the Atlantic Ocean where the high seas were terrible. They didn't have any vitamin C, so everyone was dying off of scurvy. They literally faced all types of peril to come here across. And as soon as they get here and they write up a document to start a new country, what's the first thing they think about? We better be able to say what we want to say. We're going to come all this fucking way, right? So we got to go ahead and honor our forefathers and be able to exercise that right. And to be able to exercise that right, you have to push the boundaries. That means we got to question World War II. We got to question the Mustache Man. We got to question the Cookie Monster event. We're on YouTube, right? So, but I think you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And we got to be able to have these discussions. And this is when they call you toxically masculine, when you're able to question the narrative. And if you are able to question the narrative, guess what? You can figure out other things, and you can figure out, well, you guys didn't tell us about this. You guys didn't tell us about this. What else are you hiding? They've shown to us that they could lie about COVID. They've shown to us they could lie about 9/11. They showed to us that they could lie about JFK, RFK, October 7th, right? Like with the dumb fucking guy earlier, didn't even know what the Hannibal Directive was, tried to tell me, 1,200 were killed by Hamas. When in reality, we know the most that they could have killed was 600 when we actually do the numbers. And all these numbers come from Israeli sources. I did a 5-hour-long podcast on October 7th where I debunked all this shit. But obviously, what did he do? He went off of the accepted history. Hey, Iraq, 2003. We went there because 9/11? Yeah, that's what they fucking tell you. But then when you actually do the research and you figure it out, like I was explaining to you guys before, Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden were enemies. There was no reason for Saddam to be working alongside Osama because Osama wanted to actually fight Saddam when he invaded Kuwait, and it obviously put risk to the Saudi Arabian royal family. A lot of people don't know. Osama bin Laden is extremely rich. He was basically damn near a billionaire because his family did a lot of the engineering and a lot of the civil engineering for the country of Saudi Arabia. Came from a very wealthy family, and he was making millions. He's making like $30 million a year when he was at his height of being, you know, a fucking bomber. So, so when they say these things about, oh, well, Iraq was all about 9/11, it doesn't make sense. And when you do the research, you figure out it doesn't make sense. What else are they going to lie about? They've lied about so many goddamn things. Russiagate, all this stuff. So again, toxic masculinity is the ability, right? One of the components of toxic masculinity is the ability to question the narrative and do your own investigation and figure that out. And they don't want you to be that way because when you figure out that they lied to you, well, what are you going to do? You might rebel. You might go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and be a politician instead. Our politicians are bought and fucking sold bought and sold, as you guys have seen with like Ted Cruz and these other fucking cucks in Washington, D.C., who take a bunch of AIPAC money and then say stupid shit like, we got to defend Israel. When in reality, the Israel that they're talking about in the Bible, the Schofield Bible, aka dispensationalism, is not the same Bible that is, it's not the same Israel that's in the actual Bible, right? So all this propaganda is out there. You know, the whole narratives with the women, of course, like that, which I love the name women propaganda because it's so true. A lot of the propaganda works for the women because women don't actually question things. They tend to be very, let me follow what everyone else says. Let me go off of this. And they're the biggest believers of the lies. And this is why when you look at advertisers, I've always said, when you lie, women buy. Why? Because women are easier to sell to. They're 80% of the consumer base. This is why advertisers target them. Like you take like the Gillette commercial, the famous Gillette commercial, right? How is it that a men's razor, they're talking about toxic masculinity, shitting on the very target audience that they're trying to sell to? Could you imagine if Victoria's Secret like came out with like a clothing line or something like that and said, okay, bitches, stop being sluts. Be better. Stop cheating on your husbands. Stop cheating on your boyfriends. You need to stop being toxic bitches. They would never do that. Why? They would never do that because, well, number one, women can't handle the truth. And then number two, they understand that they are targeting women and insulting women is not a good way to sell to them, right? So they thought, you know what? Since we want to advertise to women, let's go ahead and take a men's product and shit on men on their product. Backfired on them, thankfully. Guys voted with their wallets and didn't go ahead and purchase Gillette anymore, and they lost a whole bunch of money. You look at the Cracker Barrel thing that I talked about before, where they took the guy off and made it like more clean branding. I guarantee if it was a woman, they wouldn't have taken it off. They would have kept it. But who? You look at the CEO, dumb fucking female, stupid brim glasses. Oh yeah, I think it's going to be way cleaner, blah, blah, blah. Stock went down 50%. So this is kind of what it is, man. It's when you lie, women buy, and when you lie, they comply. So that is what toxic masculinity is, and they don't want you guys to be toxically masculine because that means you can stand up for yourself. That means you can ask questions. That means you're not going to listen to the norm. You're going to challenge certain narratives. And when you're able to do that, guess what? You become harder to control. You become harder to control. They can't be in control, and you challenge that control, and then that's a problem for them. So they want to keep you stupid, fat, subservient, doped up with dopamine from pornography and sports, right? Which is another reason why I tell you guys don't watch sports. Sports is a big fucking waste of time. You're sitting here like a fucking loser cracking open a fucking beer, watching some athletes achieve their dreams while you're sitting there still fat as fuck, still working a job that you hate, still working literally. Most Americans can barely live their lifestyle. They're in debt. They're in debt. They hate their job, and they're basically barely getting by, right? Like they're living paycheck to paycheck, and that's what they want. They want you to be in that position because guess what? When you need a paycheck and you depend on a paycheck, guess what? You become a slave. You don't say certain things. You don't do certain things. You don't challenge certain narratives. You need them, and then you cannot challenge them, right? So this whole concept of toxic masculinity, it's all a bunch of fucking bullshit designed to keep you subservient. But I'll tell you this, whenever there's a catastrophe or some other shit going on, they need that toxically masculine guy that's going to come in and tell women, hey, you're fucking stupid. Shut up. We got a fucking world to save. Anytime there's a fire, that toxic masculinity shit goes out the way because the guys that are naturally masculine, what do? They rise to the occasion. They run to the fucking burning house to go get the kid. Or the firefighters show up and go save the people. Because the women were saying earlier, oh, well, women could do what men can do. And what I say, hey, if you call 911, more than likely you're probably in the worst event of your life, right? I'll tell y'all this, man. I'll be mad as fuck if I call 911 and two fucking black chicks named Shaniqua and Laquina show up and say, oh, you okay? I can help you. I'm dead, bro. I'm fucking dead. These bitches don't fucking work out. They eat fried chicken all the time. They're going to be more concerned with their laces not falling off while they're trying to pick me up and shit. Fuck that, bro. Right? Like every single one of y'all in here would be mad as hell if two fucking women showed up during the worst time of your life, bro. Yeah, hell yeah. So... But they want you to sit there and be like, no, that's accepted because of equality. And that's the problem. When reality hits, equality goes out the fucking window, right? When you're at it, like how many times you guys, I don't know if you guys watch, there's this YouTube channel. It's called like Police Activity, right? And it's a very interesting channel because you get to see like the mayhem when it comes to real life. And anytime there's like a female cop or a female is involved in a shooting or there's some type of hands-on activity, the woman becomes fucking useless. And not only does she become useless, she becomes a liability, dude. A liability because now the guy, the male cop that's there has to worry about her not getting beat up or making sure that she doesn't get hurt or that the suspect doesn't get access to her gun and shoot both of them. Happens all the fucking time, dude, right? And, you know, some idiot, oh, well, how do you know this? Yeah, I know because I used to be an agent with the government. I remember vividly when I would write my operation plans and we'd be raiding a house or whatever, I always put the agents, the female agents and the female cops, always on the fucking perimeter. I never let them go inside. Why? Because when you go inside, you can have close quarter combat. You can see, you know, someone get close, take the gun or whatever. I put all the most tactically sound guys that are fucking tackle bears. I let them go in and have the women on the perimeter. Why? Because if I put a woman on the stack or a woman on the stack to be equal and make her feel better, guess what? I've effectively made the team weaker and your strongest, your weakness is your strongest link, or excuse me, your weakness is your weakest link. So she goes in, she fucks it up, she makes a bad move, she gets to shoot somebody accidentally. It's a problem. And women are far more likely when they're cops and law enforcement to pull the trigger and shoot than a man is because for them, the use of force ladder is way shorter because they can't sit there and go toe to toe with a guy. Or if someone punches them, like I'll give you guys a warning right now, never punch a female cop. You're gonna get shot, dude. You're gonna get shot because since their use of force ladder goes up so much faster, they can't like quickly transition over to a taser or to mace or whatever. Like, and they're gonna look at you as a bigger, stronger man. They're gonna shoot you and they're probably gonna walk too because they can articulate, hey, this guy's a real danger for my life. So the point I'm trying to make here is that a lot of the times they weaken everything else. So when I used to write my operations plans, I would always have women on the outside. Better for them, better for the guys going in, and better for the suspect, to be honest with you, when they went in. So they can go ahead and actually get arrested. We can interview the guy and work up the ladder of the drug organization or whatever. But yeah, so the basic thing I want to say here is if someone tells you that you're toxically masculine, good. If someone tells you that you're stubborn, good. If someone tells you, man, you're not very agreeable, good. If someone tells you you're a conspiracy theorist, good. Because at this point, being a conspiracy theorist, all that really means is you're just ahead of the curve a year or two beforehand, right? When we told you about COVID, I was saying all the time, yeah, the jab is a fucking scam, it's a lie, the scamdemic, whatever. What do you find out? Bunch of bullshit. Biden had to fucking pardon Fauci and a bunch of other people before he left office because he knew it was that bad. right? So it was all a bunch of BS. And quite frankly, it was an overreaction to a very minor problem. I remember if you talked about this thing, like on YouTube, you could get banned, but now it's like not a thing anymore. The election, saying that the election was rigged was like considered like bannable stuff. Like it was a big deal. Now it's kind of accepted now. You could talk about it because there's quite a bit of evidence out there to show that maybe the 2020 election was stolen. So if they can lie about all that stuff, guys, sometimes even to our faces. I mean, Israel to this day, right now, Netanyahu went and did an interview with Patrick Bet-David and fucking Trigonometry and the dumbass dog boys, and he was lying all over the fucking place. Oh yeah, there's no starvation. Oh well, he doesn't want to talk about the figures of how many people got killed. People say it's 60,000 when in reality it's way more than that. But even at 60,000, it's way too much. Or they're saying no, we're not committing a genocide, even though we can see with our own eyes in 1080p, 8K, 4K that they're absolutely conducting a genocide. Like they just lie straight to their face. So I think the most important thing that a guy can do is be competent, be intelligent, read, don't be a moron, go to the gym, take care of yourself, make as much money as you can so you're not dependent on the system, and then always question things. Always question things, man. So that's really what I want to say when it comes to toxic masculinity, because I think we need more guys to be that way. And I think it's a good thing, as much as they try to demonize it and say, oh, toxic masculinity is so bad. I think toxic masculinity is literally how we have the world and we have all the inventions and we have everything we have is because of toxically masculine men. So anyway, if I'll open it up to like Q&A or whatever you guys want to ask or talk about. I like to give the time more to you guys versus me just yapping here, because that's kind of lame. I can yap all day already on stream. So yeah.
How are you doing today?
What's up, man?
I just want to say I agree with a lot of the stuff you say. Not here to attack you. I feel like we have a lot of common ground, specifically about like how you believe in conservative values. Like you talk about the importance of the nuclear family in society and how that's the backbone of everything. That's how children are raised. And you talk about the importance of also female chastity and how both those things are very important foundations of society, correct?
Yep.
So on the other hand, you also preach that it's okay for men to sleep around, but you also somehow support these conservative values and the importance of a nuclear family. I don't see men sleeping around and a strong, fundamentally sound society coexisting, because in every real life example we have where men are freely sleeping around, that directly raises rates of fatherlessness, that destroys society at its core, at its roots. Children grow up without foundations and are born in poverty and almost inevitably return to poverty because of their lack of a father figure. So my question for you is, how exactly do you explain the coexistence of the importance of a nuclear family, but also on the other hand, men sleeping around is somehow empowering?
No, that's a good question. That's a very good question. So before I answer this, just like, and I'm not asking you this to like insult you. I kind of want to gauge my answer based off what you tell me, so I can be the most. How many women have you slept with?
None.
Okay, you're a
I'm
virgin.
Christian.
Okay, that's fine, no problem, and I respect that greatly. But the reason why I want to bring that out is because I think it's important that men understand. Like, ideally, it is she's a virgin, you're a virgin. You guys meet, you get married. You have children together, you have a family. That's the ideal situation. I wish every single guy could be a virgin and meet their dream woman. But unfortunately, with the way that the sexual marketplace is now and how women are, the average woman is getting far more sexual access than the average man. By the time a guy ends up even being able to catch up to a girl and go on a date or whatever it may be, she's gonna lap him when it comes to experience of dealing with the opposite gender. Now, the reason why this is a problem is because we live in a society now where women don't respect male authority. And not only do they not respect male authority, they're more sexually experienced to give the facade that they respect male authority when they really don't. And they can go ahead and get what they need. And my thing is, with the way marriage is set up in the West, men have everything to lose. So you work your ass off, you make a bunch of money, you create a name for yourself, etc. You go ahead and you're a virgin, you get with your wife. She's maybe sexually experienced. She doesn't like the relationship as much because maybe you're not like a former Chad that she had, or maybe you don't have enough money like the last NBA player she might have dated. She's gonna have these experiences in her head and be able to draw, compare you to other men, while you're not gonna necessarily be able to compare her to other women. And what's up happening is, since women are more likely to, number one, get bored in relationships, number two, initiate breakups and initiate divorces, where you have all the skin in the game. I just don't want guys being in a position where their ineptitude with female nature from being a virgin or whatever, following God, results in them destroying their life. So if you can find a girl that's a virgin and you're a virgin too, that's ideal, man. That's awesome. But I have to operate on tell guys what the real is with women nowadays. Being a virgin, operating like it's 1955 when it's really 2025 is no longer a feasible way to find a good mate, be able to identify that mate, and then put it through her paces and be able to be in a long-term relationship, because she's gonna know way more than you do, and you're not gonna, most importantly, you're not gonna be a competent leader to her because she's gonna understand the game and you're not. And unfortunately, when you're a virgin as a guy, or if you're not sexually experienced, what's up happening is you get with the girl, you get laid for the first time, you don't want to leave her, you don't see red flags from her behavior, and then she uses the sex to keep you in. A lot of women do this, where they make you comply to get sexual access, right? Oh, if you don't take out the trash, you're not going to get laid. If you don't mow the lawn, you're not going to do that. You're already losing, and there's so many guys that are in that position. So when I tell guys, look, I want you to make 6 figures per year, be 35 years old, have a good job, be in shape, have sex with 50 girls. I'm not saying I want you to openly be a degenerate. If you can get by with being a virgin and find that chick, great. But I just know the way women are and the way a lot of guys are, it's just not feasible in 2025.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
No worries, man. No worries. And that's a valid criticism. I understand where you're coming from with that. But the reason why I dispense that advice is because we're in 2025 and I'm just giving advice to guys to deal with the modern women, unfortunately. And the modern woman, dude, is a whore, if I'm going to be honest.
Thank you.
No worries.
Aloha, Myron. How are you?
Shalom.
So, Myron, you are directly responsible for spreading anti-Semitic rhetoric online. You constantly put down the Jewish people, but very rarely do you recognize the accomplishments that they have brought to society. They've been extremely influential in promoting homosexual rights, in unlocking women's potential by liberating them from their oppressive male counterparts. They are directly responsible for the central banking system and the economy that we have today. During the bubonic plague, they were extremely influential in spreading awareness of it, and they did it quite well. So my question to you, Myron, is where would you be today without us?
It's a good question. That'd be a good question. I don't know. I'd probably have a lot more money. I wouldn't be getting destroyed by inflation. I'd probably be in Sudan because they destroyed Sudan. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. So I just really wanted to ask you a question about being an overall man. So
Yeah.
as a highly successful man, what advice would you give me as a 16-year-old high school graduate on how to balance humility with achievement while also staying focused on my purpose in life and not losing sight of it as I grow?
Delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is the name of the game as a man. You know, fortunately for us, right, it's a good and a bad. The good is, you know, you're not on the same time clock as a woman, but the bad is that time clock is a lot longer, and for us to acquire our value, it takes time and resources and like us actually putting in work. So for men, dude, I would say like delayed gratification. No weed, no drugs, no booze, work to make 6 figures per year. That's got to be the goal. I wouldn't even partake in getting involved in any type of fun or vacations until you're making 6 figures per year. Getting a girl to take you seriously, nowadays, you got to be on point. Get in the gym, become a competent individual, and I think from there we can kind of have the foundation and go from there. But delayed gratification is the name of the game. And it's good that you're asking this question at 16. You're a lot wiser than I was at that age. But that's what I would say. And then avoid, especially for you as a young guy, avoid problematic people. When we're teenagers and when we're young, we tend to hang out with like who's cool. And, you know, I'll just keep it real with you. As a young black guy, because I was in your shoes too, don't hang out with the niggas, bro. The people that want to gangbang and all that bullshit, stay away from all that shit, man. All of it.
Yeah, I don't hang around people like that. I like hanging around people who share a goal-oriented mindset, who are actually about that business. Like my brother and my other P partner right there, them my niggas, man. I love them.
Good. That's what you want, people around you that are going to be successful or on their way up, man. Always avoid guys that are, like they always say, if you're around 4 idiots, you're going to be the 5th. But if you're around 4 millionaires, you're going to be the 5th. So that's how it goes.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
No worries, man. No worries. And that's great that 16-year-old already have his head on straight. Good stuff, man.
All right, what's up? I saw you before I got a picture with
Yeah.
you. I appreciate it. I like what you do. There's some stuff I could debate about you that you say, like, I don't really agree with, but mostly all the stuff you say, I really fuck with it. It's, sure. My thing is kind of like the second dude that came up here with the whole, the one that was the virgin, whatever. I'm not trying to call him out or anything. I'm just saying that guy, that when his question, So how do I get out of a situation kind of like that? You said there's a lot of guys stuck in that situation. I'm low-key stuck in that situation. What is some advice for me to get?
What part? Like, you're a virgin or you're?
No, I got a body. It's my girl, but
Okay.
it's to the point where I kind of got to do shit for it, and I'm not trying to be in that position. But I'm not kind of like pussy with it, but like kind of.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, so it's very simple.
I am.
Yeah, you are,
What is
bro.
it? No, I respect
You
it.
just the step one is identifying the problem, and the problem is that
of course.
It's very simple. And look, a lot of guys are in this situation, bro. Let me explain this to you guys, okay? This is how a relationship works. One party always cares more than the other party. 9 out of 10 times, it's the men that care more than the woman does about keeping the relationship. And in order to do, and the problem there is because there's a sexual market value imbalance. What I mean by this is, how old are you?
I'm 18.
18, okay. And how old is she?
She's 18 as well.
Okay, so she has more value than you do. And the reason why is because an 18-year-old man is useless to society versus an 18-year-old woman is priceless to society because she's probably going to be at her peak from now till about 24, right? She could get on a yacht, you can't. That's just the reality. She could go to Miami with no money in her pocket, you can't. So the fact that she has more sexual market value, you have to make up for it by being a simp to some degree. This ends up happening a lot of times for guys. So look, you can continue to be in this relationship and, kind of learn the hard way that you're going to have to, comply or to get sexual access, which a lot of young guys do. Or you can break things off, work on yourself, become stronger, get more money, increase your status, wait a little bit, and then you could go ahead and, be 27, 28, 29 and go get that 18-year-old girl where you control the frame and you tell her what to do. Because I'll tell you this, women are terrible people when they have the leverage. They are terrible fucking people. They treat you like shit. They emasculate you. They make you do things for sexual access. You probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't mean to put you on blast. But every single guy in here has probably been through this bullshit with a woman before where if she feels like she's better than you or she has more sexual market value than you do and she feels like she's doing you a favor, she's going to let you, number one, know that, and then she's going to make your life miserable. And then on the part 3 is going to be she's going to cheat on you and not feel bad about it because she's like, oh, I could do better. So I think men need to be aware of this, and this is why it's so important to get experience with women because – and this is, I wish if the guy's still here from before the Christian virgin, not to insult him, but like a lot of the guardrails that kept women away from doing stupid shit, they're gone. Shame, religion, the family, institution, patriarchy, all these things have been absolutely destroyed thanks to feminism because in order for feminism to thrive, we must remove institutions that keep women in check. And since these institutions are basically gone, women feel like they can do anything, and they don't feel guilty about it because we have like music, we have a culture that tells women, know your worth, you do what you want. There's no such thing as, we're gonna go against slut shaming, we're gonna have a slut walk. So know that all of these things are out there against you. And if you don't increase your sexual market value, you're gonna pay the price for it. And you're only 18, so you're still in the beginning of your journey, but just understand throughout for your teens all the way into your early 20s, you're going to be dealing with bullshit with women until you get your value up. It is what it is. And then here's the thing. Let's say you become a millionaire tomorrow. Still not going to save you. Want to know why? Because you don't have the prerequisite experience to understand how to deal with women properly, to tell them to shut the fuck up when you need to be able to, get in the gym and train, to be able to have that authority in that frame. That comes from experience, man. So the reason why I know this shit is because I've been in your shoes. I've been played by girls. I've been shit on by girls. I've been denied. I've been rejected. This wisdom comes from a lot of fucking L's. Right? But if you take enough L's, you can make a W out of it. So that's what we're doing now. So,
I appreciate it.
No worries, man. Tell her to make you a sandwich, bro, when you get home. See how that goes. If she fails the test, you might need to reconsider what you're doing. Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
Hi. Good.
Good. Okay. Well, I wasn't going to come up here and speak, but I feel like you've said something that I feel like I should ask you about.
Sure.
With respect, of course. Something that you said to I guess we're calling him the Christian virgin.
We'll just call him the Christian guy.
Okay. Something that you said to him, I feel like kind of led me to believe that you're leading people astray into a value that maybe you're not particularly trying to get them to lead them to. I feel like a lot of what you said was kind of rooted in comparison to the female gender, as far as saying, women have this much value in the sexual market as they're younger, and kind of seems like you're telling men that maybe they should match that so that they don't feel lesser than in a relationship, or they don't feel like they have anything to stack up to or to compare themselves to make themselves feel worse in a relationship, or kind of blaming women on that particular male mindset in a relationship as far as sex goes and the amount of sexual partners that women have when it's stacked up, I feel like that's rooted in insecurity, and you're trying to get young men to compare themselves to their partners as if it's a competition, and that does kind of belittle the idea of relationships as a whole. And that kind of sets a really poor example to young men when you have them sort of kind of believing that value. So what do you have to say? Is it your intent to lead them to insecurity, which is what I'm hearing a lot of, or is your intent different in so much as empowering men the way that women choose to empower themselves at this point? Because to my understanding, it's the women's empowerment that we're starting to call direct feminism, and I don't think that those two things are exactly the same. Women can still empower themselves and bring themselves out of comfort zones that they used to not have, or lives that they used to not be given, and still have that respect for men. And men do not have to feel like they need to compete because of that.
Okay, that was a lot of word salad, I'll be honest with you.
Right.
Can you give me like a direct question of what it is and what you're specifically having a grievance with?
I just want to know what your opinion is on the difference between insecurity and male empowerment, because it seems to me like they're butting heads.
Okay, so I've always said that privilege is invisible to those that have it, and this is a perfect example of that. So women don't really, well, they do compete, it's just that they don't really understand it or know it because women don't operate on meritocracy. So the reality is insecurity is good, because insecurity, when your position is insecure, you're more likely to work to get a better position, right? Insecurity is what men thrive off of, because competition, men must compete. We kind of innately understand this, but women don't. And when it comes to you being with a woman and dealing with your woman, there is a dynamic between the two. And in order for your woman to respect you and want to follow you, you must be better than her in every single way. The only way you're gonna be better in every single way, you must have more sexual market value than her. Now, men understand this because for us, our sexual market value is getting tested all the time. We actually have to go up to women, introduce ourselves, talk to them, and then we pretty much get an answer based on our success rate of where we stand sexual market value-wise. Women don't, because you guys, no matter how rude or fat or annoying you are, men will still talk to you, unfortunately. So one of the things that kind of sucks for women is that you guys never really know where you stand. And the thing that sucks for you guys is you guys don't learn where you stand until you get rejected. And the problem with women when they get rejected is it happens so far and few between, and it might come with like one or two guys, but it's not enough for you guys to say, damn, I need to self-improve. If I go up to 10 girls and I get rejected, which can happen easily all the time, I'm like, you know what? I probably need to work on my game a little bit. I need to get in the gym. Maybe I smell, whatever. I have a body of work to go off of to figure out what I need to do. With women, since you guys get accepted no matter what, a lot of the times you guys don't know what work needs to be done. And this makes it where you guys are very, how do I say this? Complacent, and it's like, I'm perfect the way that I am. And women, this is why women don't respect self-improvement a lot of the times. And they get mad even at the notion of me telling you, hey, you need to improve in this way, or you need to do this, or you need to tell your girl to do this. Women get mad at this because like, I'm perfect the way that I am, because we lie to women all the time. So with this whole insecurity thing, I'm just telling guys what it really is. For you to be able to command your woman to follow you properly and to do what she's supposed to do, you got to treat it like Pokemon. And what I mean by this is you need to have you need to be the gym trainer with a lot of badges, because if you don't have enough badges and you go ahead and you tell the woman, hey, I need you to, attack, and she doesn't attack, it's because you don't have enough badges. She goes to sleep on you or whatever. That's how women are. They're fucking Pokemon, right? And as a Pokemon trainer, you need to have enough badges to be able to get them to listen. And if you don't, then they don't listen. So that's why I think it's so important for guys to increase their sexual market value, because that's the only thing women respond to favorably. And as a matter of fact, this is why a majority of women are chasing a minority of men. Why are all the women pretty much chasing the same minority of men that call them bitches, hoes, that don't respect them, that don't take them seriously? Why do all the bad boys get all the girls? Why is that? Well, because women respond favorably to men that have higher sexual market value. And that increase in sexual market value a lot of times comes from insecurity and the need to compete. And the need to compete makes you rise up in sexual market value and you get more women. It is what it is. I wish it wasn't this way. I wish women were nice and polite and didn't care about these things, but they do. So the man has to have the leverage and have more sexual market value, because if the girl has more sexual market value, she's going to feel like she's better than him. If she feels like she's better than him, she's going to feel like she's above him. She feels like she's above him. She has to look down on him. She has to look down on him. She doesn't respect him. And then it's just a vicious cycle where it's never going to work. I hope that answers it.
No, you're good. So, in just So basically what you're saying is like for men, that kind of insecurity aspect is necessary.
Yeah, I mean, see, women like to frame insecurity as a bad thing, but I look at insecurity as a very good thing, because when you're not secure, you're not lazy, you're not complacent. Complacency kills motivation. Like, complacency really only works for women, if I'm going to be honest, because being complacent will make you mediocre, and being mediocre means you're not moving forward in life. You're not moving forward in life, your sexual market value either drops off or stays stagnant, and that's not going to work for you as a man. Women always want better. So complacency only really works for females. Mediocrity too, if I'm going to be honest. Like, a girl can be stupid as fuck but be hot and find a guy. Men cannot afford to be just hot and stupid, because at some point you're still not going to get sexual access. You might get some girls here or there, but you won't be able to keep them. So as a man, if you're not competent, you will deal with consequences for it.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry that was wordy. I wasn't planning on coming up, but that was my only question.
No worries. No worries. It's a good question.
Hey, Myron, fellow
Yo.
Groiper here.
All right, what's up, man?
The demographics of the United States have shifted significantly from 89% white in 1965 to around 50% white about 60 years later. Meanwhile, abortion has claimed the lives of 28% of my generation, Gen Z. I'm 16. Homosexuality is very normalized. 2% of our population is transsexual. And while this is happening, Americans who have lived here for generations cannot afford a house and to have kids, and we are being lied about our heritage and our culture. And my question is, would it really have been that bad if we were speaking German? That's my question.
Hey, man. I mean, those are some pretty serious numbers that you made there. I mean, look, the reality is like, you know, if we don't change course, we don't fix things, like, we're going to be like Rome, dude. You know what I mean? The entertainment is always the best right before things go down. So we need to make some serious changes. And I think the number one thing is that at least we're like aware of it. Thanks to the lack of censorship, we're able to talk about these topics that, you know, historically have been banned. So if we wake guys up and more young guys like yourself rise up and understand this stuff, because I'll tell you this, at your age, when I was your age, I didn't know that half this stuff. So it's good that young guys are waking up, and, you know, and this is a good sign, because that means that we're not getting censored as much on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. So step one is knowledge, and we can go ahead and correct the course. We just need more guys that are based and not fucking pussies.
Yeah, and here's my second part of the question, is how do we reverse this, and how do we truly make America great again? Because Zion Don is not going to do it for us. What is our solution?
Yeah, number one is to educate the people, which, you know, we're slowly doing thanks to the, you know, censorship recession a bit. And then we just need to get people in politics, or get people into office that aren't owned by Israel. I think that's one of the most pernicious things in our society that no one really talks about. I mean, now it's coming out there, thank God. But the fact that we have a foreign country that has the amount of influence that they have in our, not just our politics, but in our culture, and the fact that you can't even question it for so long, man, is a problem. But I see that we're slowly undoing it, and guys are waking up. I mean, the fact that you're 16 and you're aware of this stuff is fucking wild. I couldn't, in my wildest dreams at 16 years old, know this stuff. I mean, what, in 2006 when I was going, well, yeah, when I was 16, we didn't know about any of this shit, man. We're more concerned with like fucking Jim Jones, and we fly high and shit, and I'm showing my age. So yeah, man. So it's good that like this information is getting out there, and young guys are waking up. And I'll say that young men now are far more based than like my generation. My generation were a bunch of fucking stupid liberal cucks, dude, if I'm gonna be honest.
Absolutely.
Obama era, you know? So this is good. The number one is knowledge.
And I credit Myron, and as well as Nick Fuentes, love Nick Fuentes, for truly educating our generation, Generation Z, and become, as you said, more knowledgeable in these topics, because these are things that aren't, you know, taught in, you know, even in school, but also in terms of mainstream media, you know, even mainstream conservatism to that extent. They don't talk about many of these topics. You know, they talk about illegal immigration. They focus on illegal immigration, but they don't focus on the steady replacement in our country. And that's not just white people. That's also the other indigenous populations, black people as well. So, and this is a major problem that we have right now. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, shout out to Nick. Like I said, he's great. You know, I love Nick. So shout out to him and the whole team. What's up, DPG?
What's up, man? You good? My heart goes out to you, brother.
No worries, man.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
So shout out to the OSS, to the chat.
Yeah.
This question comes from the chat. Jake Rattlesnake TV, the co-host
Okay,
with
yeah,
Andrew
yeah. Shout out
Wilson.
to Jake,
He's
yeah.
going to be in Miami, November 12th.
Yeah. We'll have him on.
Just wanted to let you know that. He wants to ask you, who are the best internet debaters today?
You know, obviously Andrew Wilson's going to go on that list. You know, there's so many good guys. You know, Andrew Wilson, myself, Nick Fuentes is great. You know, I've seen who else? I'm trying to think. I've seen Jake debate on whatever a few times. He's great too. A lot of the conservative debaters are good. I mean, you know, I mean, even Charlie Kirk, when he debates against college kids that are liberals, he smokes them too a bit, right? Even though he cucks for Israel a bit too much. But, you know, at the end of the day, look, we can have our differences when it comes to Israel and everything else like that. But in general, you know, as long as like the right wing is like slowly winning and winning over the hearts of the young people, I think that's in general a W. But yeah, I think those are some people that are some really good debaters on the right wing for sure.
Are there any left-wing debaters that you respect?
Destiny's good. I think Destiny's good. Destiny's good. Dean Withers is a bitch. He's a coward. He challenged me to a fucking debate and then he ran, so he's a fucking idiot. No, he won't debate either. He's a coward. The only, you know what, and this is kind of why it's really only Destiny now that I think about it, because he's the only one that's like willing to do it. The rest of them are fucking terrified now that I can't think of like, who the fuck even? Hassan sucks. He embarrassed himself with Ethan Klein, right? He had all the facts on his side and he still lost. And the reason why, I'll tell you why the left sucks. And now I'm like thinking about it, like why they fucking suck. The reason why they suck is because if you get called, like, if you call like a leftist during a debate like a racist or something, that will derail the debate for them. Because now they got to sit here and be like, I'm not a racist. And they sit there and like, will just talk about how their position doesn't make them racist, and they're focused more on like defending themselves not to be a racist or a bigot over like actually dealing with the topic at hand. This is why like people say you're a bigot or whatever, I kind of just play along. I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. Yeah, I'm a bigot. But am I a liar? Shut the fuck up. And that's how you win. That's how you beat these people, because you got the truth on your side. Don't fucking concede anything, right? So, like with the historian asking me the question about Mustache Man and the Cookie Monster event or World War II or whatever, I had the truth on my side. That's why I had to move the goalposts to be like, well, you know, Germany fell anyway. But like he saved it during this period of time that I'm talking about. So he did still save it. So I think that's why the left a lot of the times is scared to debate. I think that's why the left in general typically loses, because they're more concerned with optics and not getting called a racist or whatever than actually debating the facts. Because a lot of times the facts aren't pretty. And they can't do that. So yeah, the right wing almost always beats them in debates every time. But yeah, I would say some of the best ones for sure. You know, myself, Andrew Wilson, Nick Fuentes is great. Jake is good. I've seen him debate the girls on whatever, embarrass them and shit like that. And yeah, it's just entertaining shit, man. I'm just some of the top ones I could think of right now, off the top of my head. But yeah, we'll definitely have Jake on. Jake, let us know.
Yeah, when you get them on the defensive and you're on the offensive, it's a W every time.
Yeah, because they're so concerned with not being called certain terms, right? If you call a leftist like a racist in a debate, dude, that's like the fucking, you're throwing a wrench in the whole wheel, because they're like, oh, no, I'm not. And then like they'll completely get derailed.
I'll let these guys go.
Yeah, no worries, man.
What's up, Myron?
Yeah, what's
Thanks
up?
for coming down. I had a question about, why is it so controversial? I had a lot of questions, actually. Why is it so controversial to talk about protecting women? Just in general, it seems like that's all we're talking about.
You know, that's a really good question, because, people really tend to focus on when I talk about women saying like they shouldn't be working or they shouldn't be in certain job fields for their own protection, but they never talk about how I say, I think men are supposed to protect and provide for them. I think, how they're supposed to be more focused on kids. They never say the positive things that I say about women, how,
right.
They need to be cherished and protected. They always want to take the other stuff because, they want to be divisive in the culture war. So
For sure.
That's what gets clicks, unfortunately.
How do you think, now that the Holocaust narratives from World War II, all of the like white supremacy ideas that Jews are, oppressed people, all those narratives are sort of coming to an end and like breaking containment, Nick's breaking containment. How do you see the identity of the country sort of shifting from, one thing to the next? It's sort of an E. Michael Jones idea of the republic is ending, and these lies of 80 years ago are now coming to find the truth, and that we can't live with those categories of mind, which is sort of my question. Like, who's white, Myron?
What was that? Who's white? Who's white?
Yeah, who's white?
What do you mean who's white?
Like when we say someone's white, who are white? Are Lithuanians
I think most of the time
white?
they would define it by being from Europe, right?
Yeah.
Is that how they would define it? But no, I mean, look, dude, I am, I'm super happy that censorship is pushed back a bit, is getting pushed back a bit, and people like, Nick are getting the recognition they deserve. People like myself that have been censored, Andrew Tate, right? They censored him for a while. He's making a comeback. So, I've seen Sneeko around. So it's good that censorship is kind of receding a bit and these ideas are able to get out there.
Is Sneeko white?
No, he's actually Haitian and Filipino.
Like the question, the really is like, who decides who's white? Because I find that as soon as you identify as white, you're a racist, you're an oppressor, you're the talker. It's like a false category from the Holocaust narratives that if you support white people, you're associated with Hitler and you're bad. So the question of like, if you identify as this false category, Jews are Jews white? That's really like when we.
Well, they'll tell you no.
Exactly.
Like they'll say yes sometimes, and they'll tell you no other times. It depends.
So this idea that you identify as white is just this false category that you will immediately fall into a funnel that you can't win, and that's, they codified it into law during the Bacon's Rebellion and the Lithuanian threw the rocket, Martin Luther King at Marquette Park. Like all of that were instances where they got to codify this into law and say whites and blacks are different, but they didn't really leave it up to what is white, who is white exactly. But
well, my stance on this is I think everyone should be able to practice a love for their skin color and a love for their people. It just so happens, though, for some odd reason, right? If you want to say, Black Power, great. If you want to say, Viva la raza in Mexico, they say great. If you say, love you long time, China, great. Nobody cares. But if you say white power, then they say, oh, you're a white supremacist and you're evil and you need to lose your job. I think everybody should be able to, practice nationalism to a degree. There's nothing wrong with loving your skin color, loving your people. And here's the other thing that I also want to say. Just because you love your people doesn't mean you hate others. For some odd fucking reason, we sit here and we say, well, you're a black nationalist, you're a white nationalist, or you're a Hispanic nationalist, and you that means you hate everyone else. No, you can love your people while simultaneously saying, I want to be around my people, but I still don't hate others. And for some odd reason, it's like, it's got to be all or nothing with these people, and they have to make it like, and this is how they like demonize people. And I've noticed with white people, they do it the most. If you say anything where like, yeah, I'm pro-white, I love being white. Oh, that's racist. There's nothing wrong with that, because we don't have a problem with people like, these black nationalists running around saying like, I'm a black nationalist. We don't say anything with that.
Right.
So I look at it like, if we're going to go ahead and allow people to love their race and love their people, we need to extend that to everyone.
Right. Well, if Hitler's pro-white and we still believe that he was the devil, then it's hard to be pro-white when the devil was pro-white, the most evil man on earth. Is America the best country south of heaven?
Yeah, I think America's the best country for sure, yeah.
Do we need more white babies?
I mean, I'll tell you this. I think America thrived the most when it was a white majority country. I think mass immigration is a problem, because what ends up happening when you have mass immigration is, unfortunately, you have mass infiltration of different cultures, and these different cultures a lot of times might not adhere to the values that this country is founded upon, and then your country slowly changes. I mean, you can look at somewhere like Toronto or London, where it's like filled with people that might not have the same values. Like, look, if people are going to come in and assimilate, that's one thing, but let's be honest, most immigrants don't. They retain their culture, they retain their background, they don't want to assimilate, they don't want to learn English, they want people to change around them, and that's a problem. So that's the issue when it comes to the mass immigration.
I heard this today that do you think that the idea that God is punishing us with an immigrant for every abortion that we've had in the country, that's the punishment, is that we've been given all these immigrants for every abortion that we've had? It's like 44 million abortions a year or something like that.
We need to definitely bring the birth rate up, right? Japan has a really low birth rate, and they're kind of like on a decline as much as they've been, innovating on other things. So yeah, we definitely, this is the importance of, this is why feminism is such a problem, man.
What's good, Myron?
Yo.
So I got 2 questions for you. First question, what's a good vetting process to find, a girl that isn't, I guess, ran through, isn't for the streets and stuff, because I know you say self-improvement, looks, max, focus on our craft as men, so we can get our money up, our grind up, but at the same time and stuff, it gets lonely, the gym,
of course.
The gym can only help you so much. Don't want to turn to pornography or drugs and stuff, but at the same time, because I had an ex-girlfriend who I still think about and stuff, because I was her first, you know?
I understand.
So, like, I made her a woman. So now she's gone. That's somebody else now. That's gone.
How old are you?
I'm 21. I'm a student here.
Yeah.
What's a good vetting process to find queens? Because they're not going to reveal themselves. I feel like you got to become high value. You got to become high value. You want to have exclusivity as a man, because we don't want ran through. We want something that's pristine. You know, we want that prime rib, you know? But
yeah, and there's no, and I would say like there's no choice nowadays, dude. Like if you're not of a higher status or you don't have your shit together, it's gonna be very difficult to find a girl that's gonna submit to you, that isn't a 304, that doesn't have bad habits. Like for you to be able to demand that from a woman nowadays, unless you're gonna go and be a passport bro, that's another option, which a lot of guys are going down that road. It's really tough in a westernized country. But to answer your question, man, as far as like vetting a woman, this is why it's so important where you got to be with her for like 6 months to a year, dude. There's no way around it. You have to be with her for 6 months to a year and put her through her vetting phase before you even think about, you know, making her a main girl. Because unfortunately, modern women have so many fucking bad habits nowadays that you're going to have to take that period of time to deprogram all those bad habits. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh my God, that's so evil. What do you mean deprogram? Like, something is like, I'll give you an example of what I mean by this so people really understand. Because like when I just say it out like that, it sounds horrible, but let me explain. Average women nowadays think it's appropriate to go to the club when they have a boyfriend. Average women think it's okay to put sexy photos of themselves on the internet when they have a boyfriend, right? Average women think it's okay to retain their male friends when they have a boyfriend. They think it's okay to talk to them, give out their numbers, etc. And then what they'll tell you is, oh, you're just being insecure, that magic word insecure. So unfortunately, since a lot of women think that this is okay or acceptable behavior, you're going to have to be with her and then instruct her or let her know, look, this is not appropriate behavior with me. And you never force her to do anything. This is the key. You're not going to tell her, bitch, you better do this or else what? You don't do that. What you simply tell her is, this is not something I'm willing to tolerate. And then you let her decide what she's going to do. You don't control women. You control yourself and you control the people around you. She decides if she wants to assimilate. That's how it goes. You never tell her or force her to do anything. You just tell her what you're going to put up with or what you're not. And if a girl likes you, she will change. She will go ahead and go on your fucking program, and then you don't have to force anything. So, and I always say, and I'll give you guys an example of what I mean by this. Think of yourself as a prestigious law firm, okay? Or a prestigious university. When you go ahead and apply to a certain school, you have standards, they have to have extracurriculars in point, they have to have a certain grade point average, etc. Like you are that university. You want to come here? Cool. You got to adhere to the standard. They don't want to adhere to the standard? Get the fuck out of here. We got other people that are waiting. That's how men have to treat themselves. The problem, though, is a lot of you motherfuckers act like DeVry. Just call in. You could go ahead and get a degree online. Yeah, let's go. Everyone's accepted, right? So, you know what I mean? Or like Phoenix University online. So if men start treating themselves like a prestigious job or like a prestigious university or a prestigious law firm, women are going to understand, oh, I better come correct. And then they're going to change their bad habits. And look, I know how women are in America. They're going to have these bad habits off rip. It's your job to deprogram them out of them. Now, with that said, there's some girls that are too far gone. If she's a 304, she's a hoe, has too many bodies or whatever, you're going to have to make peace with the fact that this girl is not redeemable a lot of the times. Because another controversial take here, promiscuous women are not good partners. I mean, I think that's kind of obvious, but even if she was promiscuous in her past, that's a problem for you, because for a girl to become promiscuous, she has to have certain traits and habits that are not going to be conducive to a good relationship with you, right? They don't have discernment. They tend to be alcoholics. They tend to be drug addicts. They tend to be on some bullshit that can fuck your life up. So 6 months to a year, that will let you like see her patterns and then hopefully help her get on your program. And then if she adheres to what she's supposed to do, man, yeah, dude, like reward her with the relationship.
Part 2, and I'm done.
All right.
The Austrian painter. What's going on with, Gaza and everything? We see it, but I have telegrams. I'm seeing live clips every day of actual raw war footage. They're killing kids, everything. And it seems now that unfortunately, our president, that wall, unfortunately, seems like he's been compromised. So the momentum, how can we maintain it, I guess, until the people that we have currently in office are gone, because they're boomers. They only got a couple years left, but we don't want to have that programming reprogrammed for our kids, because we can't have this repeat. Like you said it before, the pandemic, a lot of shady stuff been going on for like the past couple years. I'm a theorist, but I'm not a theorist at the same time for legal reasons.
Yeah, no, boomers have created a lot of the problems that we have, whether it's like the lack of affordability, someone's bringing up can't buy a home, debt through the fucking roof. Boomers have brought a lot of these problems on. Really, the only thing that we could do at this point is educate people, make better decisions, and to get some politicians in there that, you know, aren't controlled by, you know, this random place in the Middle East that's a colonial ethno state. So, you know, and we're waking people up. One of you guys might end up becoming a politician one day, right? One of you guys might end up running for governor, running for president. Who fucking knows? But we definitely, the more we educate the young people, the more you guys are going to have power, and then you guys are going to be the voter base and the politicians eventually. And this is why, let me tell you guys something. This is why they're so fucking terrified, and they had to ban TikTok. TikTok, the majority of the people that are on TikTok are young people. And when they saw all that anti-Israel sentiment on that, Jonathan Greenblatt, that fucking retard, he understood one thing properly. He said, we have an age problem. The young people are being exposed to this stuff. And they know that if the young people figure this stuff out and then they become older and then they become the next politicians, lawyers, people that have power, they're not going to support Israel. And if Israel isn't supported by the United States, it's going to go down. It's going to force them to exercise some type of diplomacy with their neighbors instead of starting wars. So that's why they banned TikTok, and you can't even put a watermelon on there or put Free Palestine anymore. They know what's up. That's why they're putting these anti-Semitism laws. That's why they're having these students get banned or get deported from college campuses, right? So they know what's up, and we got a generation of guys that are waking up, and, you know, hopefully one of you guys becomes the next politician and fucking saves this country.
You talk to the dude.
And I'll endorse you. Because you guys really are the future, man.
Hey, how you doing, man? I had one question. I want to ask for all the uninitiated people out there, can you explain why gay men and lesbians are invaluable to society?
Well, so they don't really provide, they don't create families. And since they can't create families, you know, that's problematic. And then on top of that, I don't think they should even have children. I don't think gays should be able to adopt children. I think it's a problem, right? I think, you know, okay, so I said this earlier, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'll go through it quickly. All my worldviews are based on kids. And what I mean by this is, when I say the things that I say, it always comes back to, are we having the best environment for children? And I think your liberties kind of end once your liberty starts to intrude on the ability to raise children in a fruitful society. So, for example, I think gay people should be able to be gay and do what they want. Fine. But you're not going to do it in front of kids or families, right? You're not going to go ahead and corrupt them where, Mommy, why are they holding hands and kissing? I think that's a problem. So I think, you know, and I gave my whole take on that before, which were on YouTube. I won't say too much there on what how I think we solved the problem. You know, obviously without violence, but I do think that, you know, kids need to be protected and cherished and preserved. And, you know, having, you know, more gay people running around doesn't necessarily help that. So I don't think they should be able to adopt kids, and because of that, I don't think they're able to contribute to society the same way that a heterosexual man or a heterosexual woman can.
Right, and I 100% agree. Thank you.
No worries, man.
How's it going, Myron?
What's up, man?
So this is actually related to, this is a little bit different. This is related to the incident a couple days ago that the media is refusing to call a hate crime, where a trans man who thought he was a woman, committed what they're not calling a hate crime, but was clearly a hate crime targeting Catholic children. Breaking right now is that from his manifesto, he is blaming his mother for not being supportive of his transition, and that's why he decided to kill, in his words, quote, so many people. What are we going to do about this?
Are we supposed to rumble only? On this one, or what do you guys want to? That's fine. I don't know if Sean. Huh? Yeah, we're talking code? All right. So I think, well, number one, that's a cop-out, right? Because these killers never want to take responsibility for their actions. They never do. That, you know, because this is, okay, so if you study serial killers, right, guys? If you look at like Ted Bundy or a lot of these guys, and like when they're interviewed, or John Wayne Gacy or whatever, if they actually do confess to killing people, what they'll do is they'll say, oh, well, all the women I killed were whores, or they were streetwalkers, and I did it because they're evil people, or whatever. Like, they'll always find a way to justify what they're doing by saying, like, we're getting rid of evil people. And that's what killers do a lot of times. They can't take accountability for their actions because they know what they're doing is wrong. Versus if you talk to like a Navy SEAL and he tells you, yeah, I shot this guy or whatever, they're able to be more candid about it. Why? Because they're serving their country. They probably took out somebody that was trying to kill them. It was a justified killing. Versus like these serial killers, they have to go ahead and make some bullshit up in their head as to why they're doing what they're doing. So I'm not surprised that as normal, this guy in his manifesto had to go ahead and rationalize his bullshit behavior, killing children, blaming it on his mom because he's too much of a fucking bitch, which they always end themselves too, right? They do these mass shootings and then they don't even stand up to the cops and actually, see what's going to happen. They end it all because they know that what they're doing is wrong. So, I gave a whole rant on this about what I think we should do with individuals like this that hurt children. Obviously, we're on YouTube, so I can't say it, and they protect these types of people, so I can't say fully. But what I will say is that they need to be held to an extent beyond the law. Like, I don't think executions does the jobs. I think we need to do something else, and I'll just leave it there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, WBNN, exactly. All the real ninjas know what that means. WBNN.
What's up?
What's up, brother?
What's up, Myron? I wanted to add on to the Christian virgin thing.
Please do.
Because I was in that same exact situation. The 18-year-old Christian virgin who, and you guys know what I'm talking about. I was in that same exact situation. I was raised Christian. I'm still a Christian, but very religious, and I was taking it very seriously for a long time. I was trying to do the right thing, wait till I'm married to have kids, or wait till I'm married to have sex. And when I was 23 years old, I was looking around at my church, and I was like, oh, wow. None of the girls here are virgins. None of the girls at church are virgins, and a lot of the guys at church are virgins. And so I see you get that question a lot, and it makes sense. But like you said, it's 2025, and there's no virgin women anymore, and a virgin man is going to get taken advantage of. So, yeah, it is ideal to wait till marriage, but it's kind of not an option. I think you're going to get screwed over. I'm 30 now. I caught up for lost times. I went out there and had some sex. But, there's no other, I didn't even want to. I wanted to wait till marriage, but I was like, that's going to fuck up my life to do that. So anyways, I see you get that question from Christians a lot, and I agree with you. I think you're right. And this is, Christians, I think, are coping and telling...
Muslims too. The Muslims give me the shit about all the religions in the book give me shit about this. And I grew up in a Muslim household, so for them, they're like, this is 100 lashes worthy. This is bad. But I tell them all the time, dude, look, if you can be a virgin and find a virgin wife, do it. Go for it. But it's just not feasible advice for me to give that advice to men in 2025, knowing what's out there. Guys, I've seen unspeakable thottery that I can never recover from. And just knowing what I know, it would be evil for me to tell you guys to just stay a virgin and go get these, and go deal with these women, dude. It's I've seen girls do evil fucking shit. Tell a guy that they're a virgin, make them pay $50,000 for their virginity when they're not, or lie to a guy and tell him that I did XYZ, get a hymen surgery to make it look like they're still virgins, or only do anal or whatever. I've seen horrible things. So in good faith of me knowing how women move and dealing with the women, I've interviewed 4,000 girls, been with a bunch of girls. I cannot in good faith lie to the men. I'm going to tell you what's out there. This is how I think you can deal with the problem. You don't have to take my advice, but I'm not going to lie to you guys and tell you be a virgin, be a good Christian, and you're going to find a wife. That's setting you up. That's a cruising for a fucking bruising, man. And then the scariest part is with the way the family courts are, not only will you get your heart broken, you're going to get poor. You're going to live out your fucking car. She's going to take you to the cleaners a lot of times, and she's going to take your kids. So it's I can't in good faith tell any man that. Even if, you're the most religious guy, I need to at least arm you with the information so you know what you're walking into.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see you get that question all the time.
Yeah, I get a lot, dude, yeah.
You're absolutely, and I understand the people asking.
Yeah, it's a good question.
I even agree. It is ideal to be a virgin. It's just not. That's just not how it goes anymore.
Yeah, and marriages are optimal. If the woman's the virgin or has less than 5 body count, those have the highest marriage rates, especially if she's a virgin. But dude, just nowadays it's damn near impossible, man. It's just the scary part is I've noticed this trend as I've been interviewing girls on my show. Girls are losing their virginity younger and younger and younger, man. The guys are still losing their virginities between 21 to somewhere in their mid-20s, 18 the youngest to 21, 22. But girls are losing it in their teens, and I'm what the hell is going on here? So
That's the case at church too. And you'll complain about this to pastors, and there's a lot of weak, I don't know what to call them, feminist or beta male pastors, but they'll give you this advice: women are queens, be gentle, be nice, and just wait for the right girl, God will provide. I tried doing that. None of that worked. None of that worked. It was Andrew Tate that came around, and I got red pilled. I'm 30 now, so I was. There was Sam Hyde and Gavin McInnes and other people.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, that's where I found out the truth about women, wasn't it? And I'm still a Christian, but it's unfortunate. I think we got a lot of weak pastors, and they're not being honest and being real with women.
Yeah, and you know, if a guy decides, you know what, Myron, I appreciate your advice and everything, but I'm gonna stay a virgin and find that girl, cool. At least you know. Yeah. I just want the guys to know and have that information and then make that decision themselves. I don't want them to be like, oh, well, like I can find her and I don't know any better, and then they get fucking finessed by some fucking thought. Because look, I hate to say it, like look at Steven Crowder, right? Devout Christian, successful, right? Smart, all these things, wildly, successful in the conservative media space. His wife was a devout Christian. What did she do? She still keeps his last name, still clouches off his name. She divorced him, tried to destroy his name, tried to take $30,000 a month from him, etc. And she tried to destroy his reputation. She colluded with his enemies at the Daily Wire and Yashar Ali, this fucking loser, and gave this information. She put like a doctored ring cam video when they were having a private dispute and tried to paint it in a way where he was being abusive, and she edited it. Like, what the fuck? And this is supposed to be a devout Christian woman. She tried to destroy this man's life. So this is what awaits you guys a lot of the times with these women. And I just want you to go in with your eyes wide open that even the most devout Christian woman can always reserve the right to become a feminist and a bitch at any time. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, the women at church are, anyways, I'll get out of here, but.
I appreciate you saying that, dude. I appreciate you saying that because it's like guys think I'm just like some crazy womanizer, like, and I don't get it. And it's great to hear from someone who's a devout Christian. Like, look, dude,
I'm from the front lines. I saw it all. Like, no, literally, the girls at church aren't virgins, and then the girls at church aren't into the guys at church. So true. Yeah, it sucks. So I don't know. I think part of the problem is we got these pastors just are too scared to call out the women. I don't know quite.
Well, the women are the ones that pay to the church. Like, they're the ones that donate a lot of money or whatever. That's why they kind of like have been cucked out so much. Yeah.
Hey, that was a good one.
So,
anyways, thank you for what you do. Keep up the good
thank you,
work.
brother.
This is the last question you're going to hear from my handsome face.
No worries, man.
As a black young man, in today's society, why are black bitches the least desired choice to select for men as a whole?
Oh, man. The alley-oop, let's go.
Nah.
Well, just being honest, bro, it's a multitude of different factors, right?
Crass, arrogant, annoying.
Yeah. And then another one that no one wants to talk about is like, black women tend to be fat, man. Like, they don't fucking work out. Like, they don't work out because the weave and, like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of them don't work out. And like, the average black woman's 187 pounds.
The average woman is like 5'5", 5'4", 187 pounds.
Bro, this is like a fact. Like, they literally, this is like, they're 5'4", 5'3", 187 pounds, which is literally obese. So it's like, it's just a multitude of different things, man. The culture's fucked up. The not an attention to health and going to the gym, being rude, being loud, being obnoxious. Like, this is all like valued in our society, which is unfortunate. And like, hopefully we can get guys to like, change, wake up, and then tell women like, yo, this is not acceptable behavior. You can't behave like this.
Because it hurts me as a black young man seeing the multitude of grown black women behave and conduct themselves in such manner. So it was a genuine question, though.
No, it's a problem. It's a huge fucking problem. And it's funny because if you talk to like women from Africa, they're not like that.
They're not.
You know what I mean? Like Nigerian chicks or whatever, you meet them.
It's the Western civilization that acts majority like that.
Yes, it's an American woman problem a lot of the times, unfortunately. So yeah, dude, we got a toxic fucking culture here, man. When it comes to the black community, selling drugs, being obnoxious, twerking, being an idiot, destroying the English language with ebonics, not getting educated, not having good jobs, selling drugs. It's just ridiculous, and we really need to like push back against this bullshit and be like, you know what, man? we don't want to listen to bullshit hip hop anymore. Like Young Thug, and the funny part is like they sell you guys a facade. It just came out like the other day. Like Young Thug, like literally was cooperating with the cops. He was shitting on Gunna the whole time. Like, oh yeah, this dude's a snitch, everybody else. But he was snitching himself. So it's like, damn. It's all a facade, bro. The street life is never gonna take you anywhere, man. It's not. It's all, the only thing that literally. And as a guy that used to arrest these people, that used to sit there with them in an interrogation room, there's no honor in the street code. They will sell everybody out. You're gonna go to prison or you're gonna die in that life. It's not worth it.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you, man. Very wise beyond your years. Very good. 16 years old, man. 16 years old.
All right, I'll first say shout out Donnie Luciano on Spotify, upcoming artist here. Phenomenal.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
But my first question would be, like, in the manosphere, is there anybody who you would call out right now and be like, as a man, like, who's, you know, looking for advice and whatnot, do not go to that guy, like, he's a scam artist, like?
No one I could think of right now, man. Okay. I mean, I think, look, I'm real big on uniting. I think, you know, we already are like marginalized, attacked enough, right, on the right, whether it's like, you know, whether it's content about self-improvement for the male side or guys that have right-wing talking points, we get attacked enough, man. Like the last thing I want to do is attack other people on our side, though there's some people that I'll disagree with on certain things. Like I'm going back and forth right now with like Brandon Tatum on Israel, right? I'm always like, you know, telling him how he's wrong about the Jews. And though me and him disagree, right? I like the guy. He's a cool guy. We can disagree on Israel and everything, and I can like prove him wrong or ratio him or whatever. But at the end of the day, I still look at him as like, in the grand scheme of things, he's still an ally because he still pushes conservative values. And we can have disagreements and like not hate each other and still be for good. And I think our discussion in front of everyone, you know, it's good because we're able to have that discourse and that discussion, and that people can kind of make their own opinions. So I think I'm more on the side of like aligning, man, and attacking each other. I think is kind of stupid and lame, especially when we already get attacked enough.
Fair enough. I guess my second question is, like, you talk about a majority of women chasing a minority of men, right? That's what you said earlier?
Yes.
Like, so like with trends, like, you know, women won't really date men who are earning less than them, or like those relationships don't tend to last. You're like, they own like consumer, like most of the market is like female or spending.
So
and then you look at other trends of like,
so I have
people in our age.
I'll explain what I mean by this. So like we have what I call a female delusion calculator, right? And we show it on the show. Anybody that watches the show knows what I'm talking about. And it's probably the most accurate assessment of men in the United States. It goes off of the CDC, the U.S. Census Bureau, a bunch of different stat points of men in America. And overwhelmingly, whenever we ask women, what do you want? It's somewhere between 5'10" and above in height, right? 6 foot preferably, $100,000 per year, not obese, not married. Off these factors alone, this puts the guy in like the top 1 to 2% of men. And that's what a majority of women are looking for. And the scary part is like, a lot of times it'll be average girls we ask this stuff to, and they'll say this is what they want. Now, let's be honest here. Are they gonna get all these guys? No. Are they gonna go ahead and sometimes date a guy that doesn't meet all these metrics? Of course. But what I think guys need to understand is the ideal, right, is the top pinnacle of guys. So I think every single man in here needs to be aware of this and bring themselves as close as possible to that. I think every single guy can get themselves to at least a 7 in the sexual market value scale by going to the gym, earning 6 figures per year, being a competent speaker, being able to convey yourself in a very, what I call masculine manner, where when you talk to women, you speak in the active voice, you don't speak in the passive voice. You don't tell her things like, well, I don't know about XYZ. It's like very decisive and firm in what you say and what you do, especially when you talk to women. Like women are very responsive to that when you're not sure of yourself. So I think if guys can do these things and have these things mastered, they'll be in a much better position to deal with women. And unfortunately for you guys, and it really sucks that you guys have to deal with this. Like I'm very sensitive to this for young men. You guys have to compete with Instagram. When I was growing up, we didn't have to compete with fucking Instagram. Like I didn't have to worry about, at least in the early stages in my early 20s, like I didn't have to worry about like a rapper or an NBA player like DMing a girl that I was talking to because it was still in its infancy. Now, with the way social media is or whatever, an average woman has access to like top tier guys that can get flown out within a day or two. So this is unprecedented levels of access that women have to higher status men. And the problem is that women base what they're worth off of what they have access to. It's very important that you guys understand that. So women don't go off of their real sexual market value. They go off of what they have access to. So a girl that's a 5, if she's talking to an NBA player, is gonna think she's an 8. when in reality she's a fucking 2 or a 5, right? Depending on if she has makeup or not. So I think it's very important that you guys understand that this is what you're up against. So you have no choice, guys, but to be way above average. In my day, we could have been average or been okay. You guys, cooked if you're average. Cooked, dude, like cooked. Matter of fact, I would argue it's better for you to take your prime years and work on increasing your sexual market value than being an average guy and entering the dating marketplace, because it's going to be miserable. You're going to get flaked on. They're going to treat you like shit. They're going to use you. They're going to save you in their phone as Uber. You're going to try to kiss her and she's going to say, not today. Meanwhile, she's going to go fuck some fucking Nigerian or some shit. That's a prince. So, like, you guys need to like know this is what you're up against, right? If you guys don't want to be, if you guys that are religious, fine, ignore this shit. But understand that this is what's out there and this is what you're up against.
I guess the question becomes like, if these trends do continue though, and like guys, you know, don't take your advice or whatnot, would it become like a self-solving issue where like, you know, women like the childless cat ladies and like these, you know, crazy women just don't reproduce?
Well, it's already happening now.
Like, the same people.
AI is already
keep having
coming there.
kids?
They're making sex robots right now. And I think I predict it's going to be faster than what we thought. I predicted before like 10 to 20 years. Dude, the robots now are starting to look more and more like human-like. And the thing with men is, men are the ones that, you know, we're the innovators. So since a lot of guys are not getting laid, a majority of guys aren't getting laid, they're going to go ahead and try to solve their reproductive problem. And what we're seeing now is like guys are starting to ramp up production of sex robots. And at some point, that's where we're going to go, man. I think that's the future. Now, hopefully, I want all of you guys to find a woman that you like and get married and have kids. But let's be honest here. A lot of guys don't have the capability and the skill set to attract modern day women. So a lot of guys are going to have to, you know, deal with fucking robots, unfortunately. That's where we're going.
I hope you're wrong.
Dude, I wish I was wrong too, man. But like that's where we're going.
What's up, Myron?
Yo.
Have you ever talked to the Homath guy?
Yeah, we've had him on the show actually.
Oh, okay. I love the way he explains the paradigm of attractiveness when women.
Yeah.
Women.
Check
It's
it out on
perfect.
our channel. We had him on a couple months back.
Is it ever okay to call a woman fat?
All the time.
Is it?
I wish we had more guys that told them that they were fat, because then we wouldn't. Dude, something like, I literally had the numbers for this. Something like 70% of women are overweight. So like 70% of women are overweight in the United States, and I think 42% of them are obese.
Yeah. Yet hypergamy is just as relevant as ever.
Yeah.
Do you believe the universe has a purpose? Like we're moving towards something. Everything that's going on is like moving towards like a telos of the universe. Is that part of like Muslim?
Yeah, no, I mean, for, you know, very similar, right? There's going to be, you know, we're all being judged in front of God, and, you know, what we do on this earth is going to, you know, decide whether we go to heaven or hell. And I do believe in God. I do think that if you don't believe in God, probably something is wrong with you. And, you know, and I believe in the sanctity of human life, and I love all people, you know, but I understand that the differences between people, and I understand the inherent differences between men and women. And I think for us to, you know, have women at their best, we must put them where they excel, which is raising of children, having families. And I think that is what we're here on earth to do. So, you know, that's kind of what my take is on it.
Thank you, Myron.
No worries, man. Thank you.
All right, this one's a little more campus specific, but it's still on topic.
Sure.
So the student government here is run by, so there's 4 execs, and the majority of them are women. And the student government also gives, they also give us, they also give us as an organization a lot of trouble. They actually defunded our last event in this room a year ago, which was a big problem. If people want to check that out, it's all on the channel. Do you think, I know this might be a crazy question, do you think these things are connected?
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to toxic masculinity, right? So this whole label of like toxic masculinity, it's like a catch-all term for guys that think outside the box, because these ideas are considered dangerous rhetoric, right? And they use this to say, oh, it's hate speech or whatever. I mean, it's just the truth a lot of the times. And, you know, the truth is very dangerous to people that live in a world of lies, right? Like, you know, liberal rhetoric a lot of the times, like men and women are equal, women are superior and can do everything that a man can do. You know, Jews don't run America. Like, these are pernicious lies that we tell each other to feel good. But the reality is, like, when you tell the truth about how things really are run, they get mad. They're like, oh, we got to censor this. Oh, this is toxic masculinity, blah, blah, blah. So censorship is never the answer. And anytime you have to censor people, that tells you that you're over the target. So yeah, dude, I mean, this is the problem with universities. This is why so many guys are like, university enrollment is going down for men but going up for women, is because the whole academic world, and you're seeing this in psychiatry and psychology as well, is being dominated by women. And women create toxic fucking environments where they don't want men to be men. They want men to behave like women. And that's a problem.
Do you think that's just, you said that women are dominating academia and stuff. Do you think that's just because they're just, men don't want to do it and women do? Or do you think that's like, it's structured in a way that benefits them more than men?
Yeah, I think like education in general has always been geared towards women, right? Like if you go to school, I remember when I went to school, maybe I'm showing my age here, like you have to sit down, fold your hands like this, raise your hand to, ask a question. You have to ask the permission to go to the bathroom, whatever. Like everything is taught to make you a better employee and follower. Now for women, this is fantastic because women are designed to follow the strongest authority. But for men, it's not. This is why like little boys are like, oh, you need to get Ritalin. Oh, you need to do drugs or whatever. We need to calm you down or whatever. But it's men and women, boys and girls learn in different ways. And unfortunately, the education system is structured for women to excel and men not. This is why they do better on tests a lot of the times, or they might have higher enrollment in universities, but they're still fucking dumb a lot of times. They can't even understand simple logic. When I debate a lot of these college girls, they'll sit there and be like, yeah, I have a master's degree, but they don't master anything besides being stupid. So that's the reality. And like, yeah, like, earlier, like the historian guy, for example, he's like over here, like he can't even have a real, this is his fucking major and he's still a retard, right? So that's the problem with college. It doesn't teach you to like critically think a lot of times. The education system in general doesn't teach you to critically think because you become a danger to the institution when you're able to critically think. And this is coming from a guy went to a prestigious school up in the New England, Northeastern University, like a 6% acceptance rate. And I saw the bullshit back then that we were moving towards like this super woke stuff. I graduated in 2013 and it was already getting bad then. So I can't even imagine for you guys what it's like now.
Myron,
great question, man. You always ask a good question.
Myron, last time you were here, you talked about immigration. You mentioned mass immigration a couple times here.
Yeah.
I have a question that I think probably defines the next decade, if not three. What is an American?
Interesting. That's a very broad topic. Well, I think an American is someone, well, if we're going to talk about someone like that's an American citizen or whatever, you need to have like a deep sense of patriotism. And I think one thing that we don't have in America right now, which really pisses me off, and it's very annoying, is people will carry an American passport but not like give a fuck about the American flag. And I'll give you guys an example of what I mean by this, where like we have this like ideology of like it's not cool to be a patriot. So I had a girl on my show the other day, and I asked her, what are you? And she's like, oh, I'm Dominican. I was like, oh, okay, all right, cool. So like, were you born there? Are you like a Dominican citizen? She was like, yeah. Or she said, no, I was born in America. I was like, oh, okay. Do you hold an American passport? Then she was like, yeah. I was like, so you're an American? She's like, no, I'm a Dominican. And I sat there and I thought for a second, I was like, a lot of people are fucking like this, where they carry an American passport, but they're not really American. They just come here, they fucking utilize our resources, they utilize our benefits, and they don't fucking, contribute anything, or they send that money back to their shitty ass fucking country. And I think, yeah, exactly, right? With the chick from before. So I think an American is someone who has a deep love and care for their country, whether they serve in the military, they serve in the government, or whatever it may be. That's number one. And then also adhering to like American values, speaking the English language, respecting one another, understanding, liberty, understanding the Constitution, respecting the First Amendment, respecting the Second Amendment, right? The right to bear arms. I think all these things make you an American. Then we can kind of go into like racial and stuff like that. But I think like from a fundamental mental standpoint, that's like number one. And I don't think we have enough patriotism and we don't have enough nationalism. Like people sit there and be like, oh, fascism is bad. Well, there's some aspects of fascism that is good. Like, for example, the extreme nationalism, right? I think we need to go back to being nationalists, like flying only the American flag, no fucking weird tranny flags, no weird rainbow flags. I think we need to be America only, no more Israel flags. Why the fuck are we flying foreign flags and flags of other people? Like, I don't even think we should be flying state flags if we're going to be honest. It should literally be just American flags. Shouldn't be anything else. So, when people say all the time, oh yeah, America first, I'm more of a America only. I don't think we should be giving foreign aid to anybody really. It's damn near and definitely not foreign aid to the point where we're giving them weapons so they can kill other people in our name. That makes us look bad. And it fucks our ability up to, run diplomacy. So I think when it comes to being an American, you need to actually love your country. And it really bothers me that we have so many people here that are just fucking leeches. They don't contribute. They don't pay taxes. They're not proud to be an American. They're not proud to hold an American passport. They'll sit there and introduce themselves as like a Dominican from their shithole country. Like, you know, I've never had a Sudanese passport and I never will. You know, when people ask me, what are you? I say, look, background-wise, I'm Sudanese, but I'm America only, man. Like, I speak the English language. Yes, I know Arabic. I can speak it. But English is my first language. You know, it's going to be the language I die knowing, right? And I'm gonna be buried in America. So, and I'm gonna do everything to make this country better. That's why I do the things that I do, because I want to make this country better. And I think we need more people that do that. And that's what pisses me off about a lot of people is like they're not nationalists, and it's not cool. That's another reason why I hate liberals. They're not nationalists. They don't give a fuck about this country. They care more about like other people's feelings and more immigrants, and they don't give a shit. I think if we're going to go ahead and build a strong nation, we need strong people that care about the nation to make it a strong nation. No more fucking freeloaders, man. Like, that's what it is. And that's why I'm so against mass immigration, because most of these people come in, siphon value, don't give any value back, and then either go back to their country or don't even contribute. So we need people here that give a fuck about the country, that are patriots, and these are people that need to run the country. And hopefully we can get some politicians in that are America only, not fucking Israel first. So, yeah. So I went on a long rant there. Didn't mean that, Zeb. We can talk about it later, but yeah. Okay, yeah. So I think they're kicking us out now, right? They're kicking it. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the little talk. I'm glad that you guys came with some really good questions. It's always great to talk to you guys. Hey man, I think we might be. Thank you guys. We might be in North Carolina. I don't know. Soon, maybe. We're still, yeah, but the Toxic Masculinity Tour is gonna continue on. We're gonna be all across, going to different places all across America. Hopefully wake people up, red pill them, and hopefully, you know, we get some people fucking awake on what the hell's going on, man. Whether it's, you know, dating, women, politics, how this country is really run, and understanding that we need to rebel against that. Speaking out against the genocide that we're currently funding. You know, making more people aware of, you know, how the world works. And yeah, man, I'm really honored that you guys showed up and hung out with me, and you know, we'll take some pictures and talk and shit like that after. So love you guys.